Hello and welcome to another episode of Blackjack Movies. I am your host, Pat Hilke, taking you through the best damn Game of Thrones podcast on the internet. This is the Kings of Westeros, and unfortunately this might be the last episode for a few years, depending on the prequel series or whatever. I am here once again with the man, the myth, the legend, Danko Yu. What's up, Danko?
Winter has passed, Pat.
Yes, spring is upon us, I guess. All right, so unlike the other episodes that we've done this season, this one is really going to be just us talking about the episode, like in terms of like how did we like it, how did we dislike it.
More of a movie review rather than anything else.
Yeah, it's because even if we went scene by scene, there's not a lot of like meat to chew on from the scenes. It's more the visuals and the implications of where those scenes take us. So let's just get into it, man. What did you like about the episode?
I liked where it started, first of all, right after the battle, and the destruction's still there. And Tyrion, I think the end of the episode kind of had Tyrion walking into the city, and it starts off with him walking through the city.
Just covered in ash.
Just covered in ash, yeah.
Like almost to the point where I thought it was snowing a couple of times.
I thought it was snowing too, yeah. I'm like, it is wintertime, so is it actual snow? But no, it's got to be the ash. Yeah. But I liked where it started, and I got to say, like, for the first 45 minutes of the episode, up until Dany gets killed, I thought it was really good. Like, it was a little bit slower than I would have liked, but I really liked the way it was going and everything.
Well, you got some really good scenes with Tyrion going and finding Jaime and Cersei.
Right.
I like that part, and then I like the back and forth with Jon and Tyrion.
Right. And I mean, Dany's speech in front, Tyrion throwing away the thing, getting arrested. You still had a little bit of Grey Worm, Jon tension going on. Like, it was really good. I just didn't like where it went after that. I mean, if we look at how everything ended at the end, it's not even necessarily so bad. I still don't like Bran being the king and the North being released from the kingdoms. But I just felt everything looked kind of cheap after that. Like, the small council is crap. You have Davos, which is cool. And then you have Bronn. What? And he apparently got Highgarden? What? And he's got to be like one of the richest guys in the realm now?
Well, that's why he's Master of Coin, right?
I know, but okay. And then you have Sam.
Who's now Grand Maester.
Right, but it's like, how is he above everyone? It just seems... And then you have, like, Pod is a Kingsguard. Okay. Right. Brienne, it's like, fine. Brienne... Kingsguard, awesome, that should have happened, right?
Yeah.
That was the only like choice that's good. And Tyrion as the hand, cool. And then you have like that meeting where they're deciding to vote on who was who. Like, that looked super cheap too, You have like some random tokens. It's like, who's this random dude? And it's like, then I put it together. A Martell, I guess.
Right,
okay.
Right.
Then you have Yara, who looked kind of pointless.
Right.
And then you had the guys from the Vale with Rob and Aaron, which was nice to see. Yeah. And then you had Edmure Tully look like a bitch again,
Got put in his place by Sansa.
Got put in his place by Sansa, cool. Yeah. But it just, like that, the second half felt cheap, like tying loose ends. But I feel like this is where the show kind of, and I understand why they had to cut away so many characters, but I feel like if this ended up happening in the books, because you have so many characters to choose from, you wouldn't get randoms being in these key places. You know what I mean?
Right.
While in the show here, it's like you just, all right, who's still alive? Throw him into an important spot. You know what I mean? Because you have no one else.
Well, it's one of those things, like when you talk about the small council, they had to have Bronn because he was such a popular character, and the give and take that him and Tyrion had. It fits.
Right.
Like, him being on the small council fits in terms of Tyrion surrounding himself with people that he liked.
But see, I think that he would have been good as leader of the Gold Cloaks, back to where he was. Because how the hell does he get what he wanted when he, like, threatened Jaime and Tyrion? With what?
Because a Lannister always pays his debts.
I know.
I don't know.
That's
but,
total bullshit. You know what I mean? Because Jaime's dead, Cersei's dead.
Yeah,
right?
What choice does he have?
Right,
He's not going to make any money.
And how did he take over one of the biggest castles there is? I mean, you would think that this would have been something that whoever was in power would have seized and decided to pawn it out to somebody under, not even making him the heir of Highgarden, but the castellan, right? The caretaker, right?
Right.
So that's just weak sauce, you know what I mean? But I understand, popular characters keep on being there. Pod's on there. It's like...
yeah, that was total fan service.
Right.
But, the thing that I go back to, and I'm with you. I enjoyed the first half of the episode was amazing. And then it turns a little bit for me when you have, Tyrion laying there and they, Grey Worm comes to get him. And then all of a sudden you have... all the special characters, Sansa and Arya and Bran and everybody, like you were talking about at the Dragon Pit, and it's how did they get down there so fast? And I know that we're season 6, 7, season 8, we sped things up. That's fine. It switches everything with one line. Grey Worm, kicks him, says, "Tyrion, get up. It's been a month. Let's go."
Right.
Somehow just give us, say it's been a month.
Right.
And then we can move on and be
you're
like,
supposed
okay.
to deduce it all from the length of his beard.
He had a long-ass beard and he looked grungy as hell when he got arrested.
Yeah.
He's just been in a battle.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
If anything, show Jon, because Jon looked like he was...
Weathered,
yeah. He looked old as hell coming through that thing.
And see, I was hoping to see the fallout, because... And this is where Game of Thrones sometimes dropped the ball a little bit, because when Jaime got captured by Robb, you don't see any of the action, right? And some of these things you have to pass, okay, but no one ever got a good battle scene except for Jon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jon's the one who got all the battle scenes,
right.
And it's in this thing, where does it I want to see how it went down. Did he didn't get killed?
I
you know what I mean?
I think he just gave up.
I know. No, I imagine that would have happened, but I want to see that scene too. I want to see him come up,
just
drop his weapons,
sword.
and him get the hell knocked out of him. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's all you needed to do.
Yeah.
Grey Worm comes up to him, and you're like, is he going to stab him? And he sideswipes him to the head.
Right.
And you're like, damn.
That would have been cool.
would have been a cool scene.
Yeah.
And what would it take? 10 seconds of video, and
Yeah, I agree. They missed on some parts, you know?
Just like with the Battle of... in Winterfell, where if you only had a couple of cooler scenes with some of these guys, you really would have gotten a better with the Night Walkers,
King, yeah,
and the Night King,
or the Walkers,
right?
Yeah,
you would have gotten such better, feel for everything. But I hear you. But did you like the way it panned out for everybody?
I think it's one of those things. If you look at it, what do you really want? As a fan of the show, right?
Right.
Do you want everybody to live? You knew that Jon or Dany was going to die, or both.
Right.
So this is basically the best world we can ask for.
Right.
You have Jon alive. You have Arya alive. You have Sansa alive. You have Tyrion alive. Those are the 4, quote unquote biggest characters. For them all to survive, and for all of them to be put in places where you wanted them.
Right.
I know people wanted Jon to take the throne. Jon didn't ever want the throne.
Right.
And he wouldn't have been a good king.
I think he would have been a fine king. But see, here's what I thought would have been better, is if they were talking about breaking the wheel, this and that, and the North gets out of the realm. Why was it not just broken up?
Right.
And we talked about that too.
Yeah.
I think it would have made far more sense than electing the three-eyed crow, which is cool, but I still feel like at this point in time, most of these guys don't know what the hell Bran knows any of this crap.
Well,
you really have to convince.
Bran. Bran doesn't even want to be Bran anymore. That was the weirdest part, is that you spent 2 seasons where Bran was this awkward ass dude.
Right.
I don't feel much of anything anymore. I don't, this and that and whatever. And then all of a sudden he's like, well.
Has a bit of a smirk. Well, that's why I'm here.
That's why I came down. I knew I was going to be king.
Right.
Really?
Right.
The only thing that I like about that is if Bran's going to be weird, like Bran is going to be weird. We already know that. He's a three-eyed raven. Tyrion is running the show.
Right.
And that's cool.
It's cool, yeah.
Like, he's basically king, and we know that from politics in general. This is just a microcosm of, like, what real life is, right?
Right.
And so we know that heads of state are not necessarily the people actually running the show. It's the people behind them.
But see, the thing is, Bran was selected because of his brains. He wasn't selected because of he's the pretty face.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
he's supposed to be the brains. And I feel like what they should have done, too, is Bran should have been in the small council.
Who selected him, though?
No, I know.
You know?
But you're totally right. I think that Tyrion's perfect for it. But what I think, too, is that Bran should have been, like, when they had the small council meeting and it was a total joke.
Right.
Why isn't he ruling? Like, he knows everything. Why isn't he, like, coming to him and being like, this is what you need to do? Like, delegating, right? Because he knows everything. And, you know, Tyrion could suggest some things to him. But why isn't he saying, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. I know how many bushels of wheat you have, Bronn. And put him in his place. Like, with a couple of clever lines, you could have been putting Bronn in his place, telling Tyrion how to reorganize the city, telling this person what to do, where to get it, how to get it. This is this and this person. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have, because he was selected to lead because he knows everything. Right. So why isn't he delegating the tasks? That could have been a lot better done.
Yeah. I think at that point they were really just, you know, they wanted to give the fan service to Pod, right? So they did that, and then they wanted to somehow, like, fill in Drogon's, you know, script or whatever. Like, basically Bran is saying that he's going to go and warg into Drogon and figure out where he's at.
Or warg into something else and find Drogon.
Like, he's going to keep his eye on him.
Definitely, yeah.
And some of the cool thing, you know, when they said,
I like how they melted the throne too. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, and see, that's why I would have thought it would have been...
And that broke the wheel right there.
Right, and that's why I thought it would have been better to
split
separate.
Yeah.
Because it would have been like, fuck King's Landing. This was made by Aegon for the to be a capital of the realms. But now that I'm melting it down, I burnt down the city. Yeah, I don't give a crap about this.
All of Westeros
Everyone
is
go
a
amongst
free.
yourselves.
Yeah, everybody's free. Like, go rule over your own piece of land.
Right.
And that's when it comes like Dorne. If Winterfell is separating from the quote unquote union, don't you think Dorne's going to separate too?
Exactly. Especially if you read any of the history of Game of Thrones stuff. Dorne was the last one to join, hardest one to beat. They never beat him. They joined him through marriage. That's why there's so much like Dornish Targaryen blood mixing, right? How would they accept all this crap? You know what I mean? So it's total fan, you know, what do they call it? Fan
service.
Fan service, yeah.
It is. And, I mean,
at least the end of it, which family won the Game of Thrones?
The Starks.
Starks, clear winners.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for the Snow. You know, I mean, he got to keep his life. I guess that's the highlight. But I feel like he was misled to do what everyone wanted him to do that suited everyone else better than him.
Throughout the show.
No, but I mean, like, at the end, right? Sansa tells him what to do.
Right.
Tyrion tells him what to do. And Tyrion, selfless, right? Like, he was willing to die, right? Sansa, on the other hand, total Baelish mind game bullshit. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, she wanted to be queen.
Yeah.
And she ended up getting to be queen.
Right. So, but, you know, and Bran, you got to imagine, is somewhere in there, but he didn't really say anything.
Yeah, Bran is weird.
Right. But it's just...
and see, and that's the part...
You know, he was misled into being like, you're the next choice. And then it's like, oh, yeah, well, you know, the compromise is that he won't die, but he'll go back to where he's useless again. You know what I mean?
But I think it's one of those things. It helped because Tormund told him, you know, your place is with us in the north. Like, what are you going down to King's Landing for? You don't want to be king. Like, what are you doing? And that's what the end showed. Like, he saw it. He knew where his place was. He wanted to go be with the free folk anyway.
Smile at the end, you know,
a little smirk.
Just
a little smirk.
Just when he saw Ghost.
Well, that was cool. Yeah. And we finally got the Ghost John moment. Like, we needed that, you know? And so that was good. just trying to think of like some other things. Like
he could have said something nice too, like "This is where you and I belong, boy," or something like that. You know what I mean? Because you get this